AI isn't the next chapter of the digital revolution. It's a whole new book. Many would say that we've left the information age and entered the generative age. AI doesn't just automate work, it automates thought. And it's moving faster than anything we've ever seen. ChatGPT launched in November 2022. Now, not even 3 years later, some models are touching on genius level on the Mensa IQ test. They're already outperforming PhDs in some specialist fields, and at this pace, AI might well surpass all PhDs before anyone starting a doctorate today can pass their Viva. That should make every policymaker, every business leader, and frankly, every citizen sit up straight. Ireland is at a crossroads. Maybe the EU too. Either we grab this moment vigorously and decisively, or we end up at the receiving end of someone else's revolution. I'm a member of the government's AI Advisory Council, but I'm mostly speaking as a citizen and as a technology founder, as someone who's building an Irish AI company on the ground. At Gentic, where I'm CEO, AI has changed our hiring plans in real time. The traditional entry-level job for computer science graduates, coding, is simply gone. AI writes the code now. Humans are left with the higher order work, diagnosing and fixing where the AI falls short, and doing the design and the architecture. This isn't science fiction, it's how my company operates today. And it doesn't stop with software. I'm a long-time organizer of a network of Irish technology founders, and I've had thousands of conversations with other entrepreneurs. Today, those conversations are all about the AI native company. If you're not automating admin, back office, support, research, sales, everything you possibly can, you will be undercut by the next company that does. Not in 10 years, but in 2. That's the world I live in. Graduates are already feeling it. Law firms are gently cutting graduate intake. Computer science graduates are having a hard time finding jobs. IBM announced that it won't fill nearly 8,000 back office positions because it expects AI to do the work. Online customer service was an early casualty. This is the coalface of AI. And my joke is that perhaps we're actually just a canary in the coal mine. Only 4% of jobs are automated by AI at this point, but over a third already have a quarter of their tasks done by it. Careers don't collapse overnight. They disappear one bit at a time. Some new jobs will emerge, they always do, but they'll be the domain of the most intellectually elite, those who can direct AI better than AI can direct itself. Meanwhile, career paths are collapsing. If graduates can't cut their teeth, how do they ever become senior engineers or lawyers? We're snapping the pipeline that develops that future senior talent. And this isn't just Irish. Goldman Sachs predicts 300 million jobs in the US and Europe will be automated or transformed by AI. The World Economic Forum found 40% of employers expect to cut staff where AI can automate. And almost half of Gen Z say they already feel their degree is worth less because of AI. Let's address a common objection. Hasn't every wave of automation just pushed workers into higher value jobs? Historically, yes. Machines displaced muscle, and people moved up to knowledge work. But it's not realistic to expect people to get better at knowledge work faster than AI can. AI is literally getting smarter faster than we are. The old tactic of reskilling probably won't work again. Let's think about capital flows. What happens when work is replaced with API calls out to a foreign AI provider? Capital that used to be spent on wages begins to flow straight out of your economy. The STIRS report found that Europe is bleeding 264 billion euros a year to foreign tech providers who provide the digital underpinnings of our businesses, governments, communications, media, society itself. AI can make this much worse. AI could massively shrink our tax base. As it replaces labour, PAYE starts shrinking, beginning with the high earners. When businesses pay their AI bills to American companies, corporation tax shrinks. The same phenomenon that may drive unemployment could simultaneously sabotage our ability to fund social welfare. Wealth redistribution may itself stop. Marx frames society in terms of capital and labour. For generations, people have funded their lives in one of 3 ways. First, directly through their labour, or by owning assets through which they could charge some kind of rent, or from social welfare. AI diminishes that middle opportunity for labour, and robotics may ultimately finish that job. In that future, everyone without assets is going to depend on the social safety net. That's a whole new kind of society and economy that we need to prepare for. We urgently need to plan to economically participate in the future AI economy, if for no other reason than to ensure that we have a tax base to fund something like universal basic income. So where do we build natural advantages? First, energy. We already host the data centers of the digital economy from our small island. We could host the inference centers of the AI economy too. We have the expertise, we've developed the supply chains, and we have abundant wind energy. But we don't have the energy infrastructure. Our grid constraints are forcing us to choose between digital infrastructure and housing. Data centers already consume 21% of Ireland's electricity. In Dublin, that rises to 80%. Amazon recently pulled a $300 million investment near the M50 at Dublin because they couldn't get an electricity connection. A terrible embarrassment for Ireland. Meanwhile, 14% of generated wind on the west coast was wasted because the grid couldn't carry it. AI craves clean, renewable energy. We have it, but we need to deliver it. We should aim to power the largest data centers in the world. If we can't expand grid capacity and clean energy, then the next generation of AI infrastructure will invest into the UK, France, and the Nordics instead of us. We can fix this. We need to accelerate wind, overhaul planning, add storage, build interconnectors. We need to cut across departments to make this happen. And we need, as a society, to be able to talk about nuclear and evaluate modular nuclear reactors. The fundamental input into AI is energy. We can be a leader by hosting AI infrastructure on clean Irish energy. AI creates a uniquely strong economic alignment to build this infrastructure for the first time. We just need to facilitate it instead of blocking it. But infrastructure isn't just about steel and copper. It's also about rules. Ireland has a chance to stand out by creating a regulatory environment that's clear, pragmatic, and supportive. I doubt this will be solely solved by any sandbox that's operated inside a regulatory body. Let's let the regulators focus on policing compliance and provide separate and abundant support to our own companies and to others that want to grow in Ireland. Let's recognise that the EU's instinct to lead by regulation tends to inadvertently shackle our own innovators while doing little to restrain the global giants. Ireland can show a better path. Regulatory clarity coupled with proactive support. We are uniquely advantaged to provide both physical and regulatory infrastructure, and if we can get it right, we can anchor ourselves as a trusted hub in the future global AI economy. The disruption of AI is bigger than economics, it's also geopolitics. AI is the new frontier technology. It's a race for the means of production of knowledge and innovation itself. The United States and China are battling for supremacy. Europe is scrambling for maybe a distant third or even fourth in this equation. AI isn't just about jobs or productivity, it's about truth itself. We've already seen deepfakes. President Zelensky calling on troops to surrender, AI-generated news anchors publishing Russian and Chinese propaganda, and European firms losing tens of millions due to deepfake video calls from executives telling staff to transfer cash. A few years ago, this kind of thing would have been science fiction, but it's happening today. And if we don't build resilience as a society, if we don't build literacy, it might undermine our democracies before we have a chance to do anything about the rest. Now, Ireland, as a second home to the major tech players, is sitting at the epicenter of all of this. That's an opportunity for us, but I feel it's also a responsibility. Now our window of opportunity is closing. Other small nations are moving. Finland trained 2% of its population in AI basics. Singapore runs national AI boot camps. Estonia is weaving AI into all of its state infrastructure. Meanwhile, Europe risks making the same mistake it did with the digital revolution, as called out in the Draghi report, watching others build while we regulate. If we repeat that mistake, we will lose our seat at the global table, and worse, the EU may lose its relevance, not just in the world, but to itself, to its own member states and to its citizens, and lose its right to exist. So what do we do? 3 things. First, establish a permanent body responsible for driving AI, an AI strategic agency or even a department of AI. not an advisory group of volunteers like the one I'm very proud to sit on, and not a regulator, a resource body designed to help coordinate a whole of government plan to drive responsible but rapid AI adoption through the economy and society, ranging from energy to education to enterprise. 2, create an AI observatory, real-time leading indicators, not trailing data, delivered years too late and aggregated beyond recognition. Track how AI is impacting jobs, capital flows, education, in the sectors that are affected first, and give policymakers the facts as they happen. And 3, lead by convening. In July 26, we will assume the EU presidency. That's our moment to host an international AI summit here in Ireland, bringing together the leaders of global tech firms who call Ireland a second home, and the political leadership of Europe. We can set the agenda for how Europe responds to AI on energy, security, education, and democracy. Ireland knows how to reinvent itself. We've done it before. From a poor protectionist agrarian backwater to a global tech hub, we know how to create opportunity for ourselves. Now we need to do it again. We face a new existential challenge, both as a small nation, but also as a global voice in the EU. As a tech founder, I see firsthand how AI is changing jobs and business models. As an AI council member and a citizen, I see the risks for government and society. The disruption is here, the opportunity is here, the window is closing, and I really want Ireland to prosper and for the EU to survive and to thrive. So, the question is simple really. Do we want to be a consumer at the receiving end, or do we want to shape the future of AI in Europe? The time to decide is now. Thank you for listening.